Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Look, I am absolutely pumped to be with you today because we are tackling what is, without a doubt, the single biggest source of anxiety, debate, and let's just be real here, outright panic in the tech world right now. Software developers everywhere are literally staring at their screens, watching cursors just write code all on their own, and wondering, am I going to have a job next year? The whole landscape of development is shifting right beneath our feet. So today, we're going to break down exactly what that means for your career, pulling from deep industry insights and actual real-world developer experiences. And that brings us to the exact terrifying question that basically every junior and honestly senior developer is asking right now. Is front-end development dead? Is the era of the human coder just over? I mean, if you scroll through social media or listen to tech influencers, you'd probably think it's time to pack up your mechanical keyboard and find a totally new career. It's the ultimate hook, right? It gets everyone clicking. But today, we're cutting through that hype to look at the cold, hard reality of what AI is actually doing inside real engineering teams. Okay, let's dive into this. Because we actually have to start by validating that fear. The anxiety you're feeling, it's completely justified. Industry experts and senior engineers from massive tech companies are openly confirming this. AI can write very, very beautiful React code. In fact, in some highly integrated enterprise environments, up to 90% of the initial codebase for certain features is now being generated by AI models. Major players like Microsoft and Adobe are heavily pushing their engineers to use AI for their daily coding tasks. So it's not a myth. AI is absolutely writing the vast majority of the syntax. But let's shift our perspective a bit and look at the whole picture. Section 1. AI generates confident garbage. Because while artificial intelligence is incredibly fast at spitting out code, the reality is that the code it generates is deeply flawed for actual enterprise environments. You've all seen those viral videos, right? Somebody types a single prompt into an AI tool, and literally within 5 minutes, it spits out a basic to-do app or a fully functional e-commerce UI from a screenshot. It's super flashy. But as our sources point out, those 5-minute projects are virtually useless in the real world. A production-ready application requires scalable architecture, edge case handling, and deep integration with existing systems. AI fails miserably at securely engineering a large-scale, complex application from scratch all by itself. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what goes wrong when developers blindly trust AI. When AI generates thousands of lines of code in one shot, it creates a highly generic component architecture that probably won't scale for your specific needs. It completely lacks the hidden business context, those weird, unique logic rules that your company specifically relies on. Furthermore, if an AI writes a massive block of code and you need to refactor it later, it is incredibly risky because you don't actually understand the dependencies it just created. Finally, relying on cheaper or generic AI models can introduce severe hidden security vulnerabilities and performance bottlenecks into your application. If you just copy and paste, you are honestly creating a massive architectural mess. So what's the solution here? Section 2. Why fundamentals matter more. The rise of AI doesn't mean you stop learning how to code. It actually means your foundational knowledge is more critical than it has ever been. So the crucial point is this new definition right here. The traditional code monkey who just memorizes syntax, that's out. The 2026 job market is currently being dominated by the AI-augmented front-end engineer. This is a modern developer who combines deep, traditional coding fundamentals, like truly understanding the request-response cycle, core JavaScript and React internals, with strategic AI prompting. You use the AI to write the boring boilerplate, but you use your deep engineering fundamentals to architect it securely and actually make it scale. I absolutely love this concept from the research. You need to treat AI like a junior developer, like an intern sitting right in front of you. Think about it. You would never let a brand new intern write thousands of lines of code and push it directly to production without a strict code review, right? You would check every single line. Well, you have to treat AI with that exact same level of scrutiny. So how do you actually manage this AI intern? First, you've got to provide rich business context in your prompts. Second, you must set strict architectural constraints, tell it exactly what patterns to use and, just as importantly, what to avoid. And third, you must rigorously verify the output for security and performance. But here's the catch. You can only review an intern's code, and you can only successfully command this AI if you yourself possess a deep, mastery-level understanding of React, JavaScript, and software engineering fundamentals. If you don't know the core concepts, the AI is going to confidently fool you. Now, let's talk about job security. Section 3, the unreplaceable skill, debugging. If AI is handling all the heavy lifting of code generation, what is the specific technical domain where human engineers still completely outclass AI models? Well, it's right here, contextual debugging. When a complex micro front-end architecture breaks, or when there's a deeply embedded logic error in some old legacy codebase, AI completely hallucinates. It just doesn't have the holistic system knowledge to fix it. Unraveling a tangled mess of code, understanding how different components interact across the entire stack, and hunting down an obscure bug, that requires intense problem-solving skills and human intuition.
This clearly maps out the modern engineering divide. For syntax and code generation, the AI model is exceptional, and the human developer is, frankly, just slower. But move down to system design and architecture. The AI is super generic, while the human is deep and contextual. And for complex debugging, the AI flat out fails and hallucinates, while the human developer is highly capable. This visually proves that human developers are no longer just typists. You are system architects and elite problem solvers.
So, how do we apply this to the real world? Section 4, Surviving the Job Market. We have to validate what you're seeing out there. Layoffs are real, and companies are definitely shifting massive budgets toward AI infrastructure. But they are still fiercely hiring the right kind of developers. Let's see how this shifts the modern interview evolution. Back in 2020, interviews heavily focused on standard data structures and algorithms. By 2023, the shift moved heavily toward React machine coding, basically building a feature in 2 hours. But in 2026, companies are introducing the AI prompting and debugging round. Interviewers will literally give you a code base, give you an AI tool, and test how efficiently you can prompt the AI to build a feature. And more importantly, how fast you can debug the mistakes it inevitably makes. Which brings us full circle to Section 5, the AI augmented developer. If you've been feeling anxious, I really want to completely shift your tone to one of extreme optimism and empowerment right now. Because what we're experiencing is not the end of the line. I want you to think back to the year 1995. This was the massive dot-com boom. During this time, old-school C++ and Visual Basic programmers were absolutely panicking. The web was this new, terrifying technology that was displacing traditional CD-ROM software jobs. But the developers who actually embraced the web, who learned the new stock, they experienced an absolute explosion of wealth and opportunity. The sources we've analyzed make it incredibly clear this AI era is the exact same kind of massive generational opportunity. This text really says it all. Software roles don't die, they evolve. If you absolutely refuse to learn how to guide AI, yeah, for sure you're going to struggle. But the demand for the AI-augmented engineer, the person who deeply understands the traditional fundamentals of JavaScript and system design and pairs that with the blazing speed of AI, that demand is higher right now than it has ever been. Companies desperately need people who can manage the AI intern and build real, scalable, secure products. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative question. What kind of developer will you choose to be? Are you going to be the one who panics and complains that an AI generated a basic to-do app? Or will you be the architect who masters your core fundamentals, commands the AI like a junior assistant, and actually builds the future? The opportunity is entirely yours to take. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep adapting, and I'll see you in the next one.